Welcome everybody, this is the big one, the grand final of the Grand Champion Trophy between Dylan Magika and Julia Corbin. Some interesting statistics for you. We had 48 people that started this season 6, and we're down to just the best 2 players. 48 people battled it out, we're down to 2. Interestingly, both of those players are from Division 1, which according to our way of seeding should be the toughest division to come out of, so that's a pretty good endorsement for our divisional placings. A total of 186 games were played to get to this point, so that's pretty awesome as well. Dylan, you can see he comes here 79 points. He's a Division 1 champion. He also picked up the standard title, so he's chosen to play standard as a top seed. Will be his first format. Julia scraped in as the 11th seed, the second last wild card, myself being the last. This is only her second season playing the X-Mage League, so an excellent performance from Julia, regardless of the outcome of this match. These two did meet. Obviously, they're both Division 1 players, and it was Julia that took it 2-1. Dylan got standard 2-1. Julia struck back with modern 2-1, and also took down Legacy 2-1. So we're going to get into it right now. The format is standard. That's Dylan's choice. So he's going to be on the play. He's playing this blue-black control list that he took down the standard championship with. Julia is on a green-red monsters list. And I'm just going to mention now, there were some technical issues that were experienced with this game. So I've done my best to edit the files, and hopefully we can get a pretty good match going here. The issue I'm seeing here, because Dylan had to choose, the way this works, just to remind everybody, is that the top seed gets to choose the first format and play first. Whoever loses then plays first in the next one, with the other person choosing. So Dylan had the choice out of all 3, so he favours himself. He just discards the duress there. Favours himself most in standard, which of course you would. He beat Julia early in the season in standard, and he also won the standard. He's a defending standard champion for season 6. But it's Julia with the early running here. Thrashing Brontodon is going to take down that search for Ascanta next turn, unless Dylan can find a removal spell, which he can, well, if he can activate he's not going to take down the Brontodon here. Okay, nice play. Because he plays the Henny's expertise, he gets to play a... Oh, he's not going to... Actually, he takes the Kindling Phoenix out of the hand rather than taking down the Brontodon. So Julia's got the option here of killing that search for Ascanta this turn if she wants to. She's going to cycle, which kind of tells us that she's a bit short. We're looking at Dylan very thoughtfully there, just showing us... Because this is recorded by Dylan, by the way. He's just showing us the hand that he's facing, and there it is there. So Julia just economical, gets in the 3 points of damage first, of course, and then sacrifices it to take down the Ascanta. You can see the explored card. Kenra goes to the graveyard. So he's holding up Negate. I don't know if that'll stay in. You can see there's a Lightning Strike and a Struggle to Survive. Struggle to Survive hits creatures, so he's probably, with his deck, he's not too concerned about that. Julia, on the other hand, probably needs to start finding some threats. She does have resilient threats, and I'm guessing in a green-red monsters one, a big one for her is going to be Carnage Tyrant, which I don't think blue-black can deal with outside of a Doomfall. And when there's other creatures on the battlefield, then Doomfall is not going to cut it. Yeah, looks to be just a delay here. I'm not sure if Julia is thinking. Perhaps we'll just skip forward a little bit. Oh, okay, she's just consulting the deck list. I'll skip further forward. Okay, so Dylan's just shared the deck list with her via Messenger. So now she's going to reanimate that Kenra that went to the grave. Dylan's got an answer for that in Fatal Push. You can see Dylan's still at a pretty healthy 15 life. Funnily enough, in this matchup though, he does have less cards than Julia. And he's getting a bit land flooded here. The little old merfolk branch walker now, he's chipped Dylan into, I assume it's a Gaia. I'd have to look closer at the art, but he's chipped Dylan into single figures here. Dylan just trying to filter his deck with the Field of Ruins, but it still doesn't work. He still just draws a swamp. Julia cycles the Sheltered Thicket, trying to find something. She's got 4 cards in hand. Plays a mountain after cycling, so I'd assume that's probably what she drew for the turn, from the cycle. Sorry. Here's an opt. So can he find a Scarab God? This is just a disastrous flood in the first game. Yeah, Dylan's just saying in chat it's a little absurd. He just has absolutely nothing going on. So sideboarding. Oh, he's calling it a punt now. Yeah, I think at the Doomfall he could have taken down the... Should have taken down the Brontodon so that he didn't lose his Escanto, and we would have had a completely different game here. Having said that though, he would have had to have dealt with a Kindling Phoenix, and that's going to be game, I think. He can't beat that. Unless he top decks Henny's Expertise. No, he can't. He's dead. So we're going to go to game 2. So we're on to game 2 now. Dylan needing to win to keep alive. See, 2 Masterminds acquisitions in hand, so he's going to be able to find something of use. Julia's got game 1 with that Merfolk Branch Walker that was... here it is again. It explored... Oh, there's a Carnage Tyrant. That's big trouble. Puts that on, she definitely keeps it on top of her library. The Branch Walker just kept chipping in for 3 each turn, and it was enough. But Dylan is going to be able to stop it beforehand if he wants to, because he's going to be able to play Mastermind's Acquisition, and if he wants to, he can find a Doomfall to get it out of the hand. He's going to get Mirari Conjecture first. Still has plenty of turns. You can see the Carnage Tyrant is a 6 mana spell, so he's still 2 turns away from that. Here's Jade Light Ranger. Thrashing Brontodon, and Julia puts back on top. Perhaps she saw the Mirari Conjecture, so it's going to be able to take that down. Makes this decision a little bit tougher here for Dylan. The problem is he holding up a blink of an eye. The problem here is that he's going to give Julia another Explore trigger. So he's going to cast down the Jade Light Ranger. So he's down to 11. Here's the Brontodon. Deciding if he wants to use Fatal Push, he does not. One option he has here is to Field of Ruin, and then that'll turn Fatal Push on. But that's a big play off the top. A Glory Bringer. He can actually do alright here. He's going to... He's going to be able to turn on his Fatal Push, take down the Thrashing Brontodon. And he can only bounce the Glory Bringer, so he doesn't actually have the mana to draw the card as well. So he's still going to take 3 damage here. Glory Bringer can potentially come down next turn. But he has got the Brontodon off the battlefield, so he's able now to play out the Mirari Conjecture. Wonder if he's interested in just getting back the blink of an eye, so with the Murray conjecture. 2, 3, 4. Actually, he's a land short. He can't do that and bounce. So he's in a bit of a spot here. Got to survive this turn. Which instant card does he want to get back? He's going to get back Fatal Push. Okay, so he's only going to take 4. Well, he's not dead yet. He's saying he's punted a few times in this match, but he's still alive. We're probably going to see the Glorybringer come down again here. He doesn't actually have an answer just yet. He's going to get a Mastermind's Acquisition back here. Or a Secrets of the Golden City, one of those two. Because I think the second one has to be a sorcery. Yeah, sorcery. So he's going to get Secrets of the Golden City. And he's just straight up dead if he can't find a... no, I apologise, no. He can find an answer right now for the Glorybringer. He's going to go for Vraska's Contempt. That's a nice one, because it'll net him 2 life, so it means he's not dead to another Glorybringer off the top. So Dylan's probably stabilised here. If Julia can find another Glorybringer, it's going to be a problem. There's a number of draws she can have. She's in range now for Carnage Tyrant as well. I don't see how Dylan can possibly beat Carnage Tyrant. Murray Conjecture is going to let him... And just as I say that, he plays a Carnage Tyrant, so he needs a Doomfall or Bust here. Murray Conjecture is going to allow him to double his spell. So Secrets of the Golden City, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's one short of having... he's going to copy Yohenni's Expertise, so that's very good. Now he's going to play Secrets of the Golden City and copy that, so he's going to draw an absolute ton of cards, so that's a huge play from Dylan. Going to play Opt and he's going to copy Opt as well. What a turn. I think if he's advertising his deck, then that's the perfect example of how this thing is meant to play out. So he's going to get proactive here, go after... He's going to Doomfall twice. Going to strip Julia's hand. She's got nothing left. Yeah, Dylan's saying wow in chat. I don't think you could write that one up any better. That's exactly how I think his deck is meant to work. And suddenly Julia's on nothing. Well, I don't see how she can recover from here. Possibly Carnage Tyrant is about her only out. You'd imagine at this stage Dylan's going to start to recover. Plays a Die Fleet. Okay, so I've been advised via chat of this. The Die Fleet Daredevil here was somehow busted. I don't recall the details. But Julia actually concedes the match at this point. Because she said she was too far behind, so we're going to game 3. That was a buggy issue that with the game. She couldn't cast the card she wanted to cast, and at that stage she thought she couldn't recover from being that far down. So this is game 3 to decide it all. There's a third land for Dylan. It's difficult to see who I think is favourite here, because I think I like Julia's aggression. We saw in that last game that what Dylan's deck is meant to do, and it looks very good when it does it. The thing going in Dylan's favour here is that we have not seen any Scarab God. We haven't actually seen any win conditions, Scarab God or otherwise. On Julia's side, we've seen one Carnage Tyrant. Jade Light Ranger finds another Jade Light Ranger, and Julia keeps that on top. Dylan kind of racing the clock here. He does have a Vraska's Contempt, but he's going to... Okay, so he's going to take, rather than take one of those, which is, I like, a Kindling Phoenix and a Glorybringer, and you know that Julia's drawing a Jade Light Ranger next turn. I think you take the Phoenix. He's got the mana to play either one. Phoenix is probably coming down next turn, but it's not going to come down with haste. You can see he does have the Vraska's Contempt, so yeah, he takes the Glorybringer. He'll still have a turn to answer the Rekindling Phoenix. The problem is though, Julia's got 6 power on the board, and we know a Rekindling Phoenix is coming down this turn. So I don't. Dylan kind of needs to hit Henny's expertise again here. Finds a... Now this is... Yeah, he's just passed the turn. He's got 2 Vraska's Contempt, so he's going to gain 2 life from that. As far as we know, there's no 5-drop coming down. We know about a Jadelight Ranger and a Rekindling Phoenix. One option he had there as he goes to 4 was to actually Vraska's Contempt that Jadelight Ranger, then he could Vraska's Contempt the Phoenix on the next turn. Julia, for her side, she doesn't actually... I was going to say, she doesn't really need to do anything. Because she's senior Henny's expertise, she might just be tempted just to hold off here. Yeah, she's going to go to Jadelight Ranger instead. I like this play. 2 lands go into her hand. There's still lethal on board, and so and timely. He's going to be able to clean up the board now and play Secrets of the Golden City. So that's a huge swing there, right there for Dylan. I don't know how many Henny's expertise he's got. Pass the turn. He's down to 6. Oh, eternalizes Kenra, so it's going to chip him down to 2. He does have a cast down that can beat that. He's going to go for the card draw instead. And pass the turn, down to 2. Big play here. He knows about the Kindling Phoenix. Oh, he's saying no Lightning Strike, please. Lightning Strike will just be dead off the top. It's Chandra, that's the game. So Julia can plus Chandra and do the final 2 points of damage, and Julia takes down Standard 2 games to 1. Glorybringer was the other card that would kill him, but he did have the cover there. So facing sudden death now, it's modern. And this is going to be Storm up against Barnt Spirits. Dylan needing to win to go to Legacy to keep this alive. Julia can win, be our grand champion if she takes down Modern. I think this is just a pure racing game. This is just a pure racing game right here. Whoever can kind of kill the other person the fastest. Here's Geist, so that's a real... No... There's no counter spells on the other side. Geist is a real clock. 3-turn clock to be exact here. But you can see Dylan does have the pieces to win this. Baral and Gifts, which is 2 turns away. If Julia has Path, I think this one's just over. Here we go. Dylan's trying to go for it now. If you just look in the bottom corner above the stack, where next to the F3 button, it says 3. That's the storm count. That's what we're watching. Oh, sorry, it's cut off. It's cut off on the recording. So I'm just gonna. I'll keep you informed of the storm count. It's currently at 3. Still a very long way to go to get to 19. Okay, in response, Julia's going to path. So it looks like Julia knows what's what here with the matchup. But 5 mana, I don't think he can get it done. Yeah, Dylan's going to tap out here. That was a perfectly placed path from Julia. So what's he going to give her? Baral, Goblin Electromancer. So you can see he's valuing a Noxious Revival, so he's going to get one back regardless. And a Cantrip. Yep. So he values getting his enablers quite highly. This is a mistake I used to make when playing against Storm, is to focus on beating the Gifts Ungiven and the Past in Flames, when the best way I think to beat it is to take down Electromancers and Barals, and it slows them down considerably. So Julia just considering now, the storm count's at 6, obviously it's going to be relevant for this turn. See what she gives him back. Either way, he's getting an enabler. I think you put the Baral and the Electromancer in the bin and force him to spend 2 life on Revival to get one back. Then you know what his draw is next turn as well. So she could, yeah, that's what she does. She puts the 2 creatures in the bin and gives them a Noxious Revival. I wonder if he wants to fire it off now before there's a Spell Queller opportunity. Looks like Dylan's considering it. Considering it. He keeps wavering between the button and he's going to pass. Okay, so he's at the mercy of a Spell Queller on the other side. Julia's got 3 turns with the Geist. So here comes the first hit. It's going to get an Exalted trigger because that's an attack trigger, and Angel comes in when he attacks us. Puts him down to 9. So here's a Noxious... He's going to Noxious Revival in the upkeep. Interesting. We'll see if this gets a response. Spell Queller or Collected Company, it does not. He did have the mana to fight that anyway. I think if Julia's got anything, she's going to fight it here. Yep, here's Collected Company. This has to hit. Otherwise, he's free to... He could have actually reminded or unsubstantiated that company, but he chose not to. Oh, and that's a big one. If Reflector Mage had come in later... Now he's going to Past in Flames. Storm count at 5. And now he's going to start going off. Pyretic Ritual. Mana at 7, Storm Count at 8. Finds his Grape Shot. Storm Count at 10. It's got to get to 19. I think it's all trivial from here. Three more enablers, so Storm Count's at least going to 13. You can see he's keeping that blue floating, so he can remind his Grape Shot. Yep, so he's got the match right now. Storm Count's at 15. He'll remind it and play it back. So it's actually 31 damage coming through. And so we're going to go to game 2. We're still in up a game. So you can see it knocks to 5, Storm Counts at 16, it's going to do another 16 damage. And that's it, Julia's seen enough. So on to game 2 now. Dylan needing one win to take us to Legacy. Julia on the play. And she has the turn 1 Hierarch again. It'd be interesting to see how she's going to approach this in this game. We saw a pretty good path to exile, a well-timed path. In game 1, so we'll see what the turn 3 play if it's a Geist of St. Traft. Shocks herself. Yep, turn 2 Geist. That's what the Spent Spirits deck is meant to do. So Dylan at 19. He's going to take some pain from his mana. He's brought in the Lightning Bolts. I think there's a few of those in the sideboard. So 7 coming across. 3 turn clock he's got to do something here. You can see Julia shocks herself again to hold up 4 mana. I wonder what that could be. Dylan to 13. Echoing Truth doesn't do too much here. It's going to buy him a turn by bouncing the Angel. End turn Collected Company, so that's an aggressive line. No response on Dylan's side. Spirits may have something like an Eidolon or Rhetoric. Is that just dead? 3, 6, 7, 8. I think he's got an Echoing Truth set. I think he's got an Echoing Truth to Drog Skull to stay alive here. That's 5, 8, that's 12, so it's going to put him to 1. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't Echoing Truth to Drog Skull Captain. And here's a follow-up Rest in Peace, so this is ugly now. We're going to game 3. Okay, so he bounces Rest in Peace end of turn. He has to go off this... Oh, and he got the Baral as well. So if Julia needs to have a path to exile right here. Let's see if she does. Thinking. Dylan played his land for the turn, so... Now, does she have something? It's a unified will, that's the game. We're going to game 3. Julia 1 modern win away from taking this down. Or it's top deck right here from Dylan. He needs a top deck. He does not. So game 3. Dylan on the play. Dylan, he must win this one to force Legacy. If he does not and Julia wins, then Julia is our grand champion. Starts off with a ley line, so we have to hope that Empty the Warrens is in here. Mausoleum Wanderer will be handy here. You can see he's got the wipe away in hand, so he's going to be able to bounce that ley line end of turn. So when you see that, it looks like ley line is not a very effective card here. We saw the Echoing Truths in game 2 as well. But Dylan just not hitting anything at the moment. You can see Julia without white mana, so there's no danger of a Path to Exile here. So no Path to Exile, no Spell Queller, and no Geist of Sintraft. But Dylan just flooding out big time now. He might be forced to use that wipe away defensively pretty soon. Luckily for him, Julia's just got nothing going on. So 5 damage is going to be coming through. Now there's the white source. Down to 11 goes Dylan. Still cannot find anything. Cracks the white source for what? Let's see. Just a plains, just going to swing again. Dylan probably almost in top deck mode right now, you'd imagine. Top deck or bust right now for the Grand Champion prize. He gets nothing. I think he's done. If there's a collected company in the turn here, this one's over. Let's see if Julia's got it. No, she doesn't. Or a Lord here would do it as well. No Lord, so Dylan's going to get another turn. One more look for Dylan to keep his season alive. No more look. She's flashed in a... That's it. He's got to use a wipe away right now. He needs a wipe away to keep his hopes season alive. But is that going to... So... 4... Okay, he bounced a Wanderer. Top deck time. Echoing Truths. That's not a bad one. That's going to get the Rattle Chains. He's on 2, but any spell here is dead. I think he's just dead, actually, because Julia can play the Mausoleum Wanderer. Yeah, Dylan's conceding. So Julia is our grand champion. They're just sort of exchanging pleasantries in the chat. But Julia will be our grand champion. Interestingly, Julia's friends of Bob, and this, going by our previous champions, was Emerson, Bob, Emerson, Bob, Emerson. Bob didn't play this time, so Julia took the title instead. So the connection is kind of still alive there. So congratulations to Julia, and also to Dylan, who had a very good season. There's Julia with her trophy. I'm not an expert at Photoshop, obviously you can tell, but very well done to Julia. Congratulations, and it'll be a write-up.